Spider-Man 2017 has a certain level of infamy. You've seen the reviews. You've seen the awful animation that goes around the internet that makes the rounds. And people are confused about what the actual hell they're looking at. And I wanted to throw my hat into the ring because this is bad. Like, real bad. This is complete hot garbage that I never would expected from a modern cartoon. Okay, to be fair, I only watched the first 5 episodes of the show, 6 if you include the origin shorts as one. However, based on what I've seen for later seasons, I doubt much has changed. However, I'm focusing on one aspect of the show, the art style. Why? Because I want to talk about this aspect of the show in particular because this honestly has been on my mind for the longest time. For a while, I wanted to talk about the show because I have a lot to say about it. Mostly pretty bad things. Not to say I don't have strong feelings about the other aspects, but this aspect in particular has my strongest feelings on the matter because I hate it so much. But I need to bring backup for this breakdown. A man who knows his way around the pencil when it comes to art. A man who knows how to make good art. A master of the drawing arts. Please welcome my good friend, PsychoRiot.
Howdy, y'all. My name is Ren, also known as PsychoRiot, and I just want to thank Arkwinder for inviting me to destroy this piece this piece of show. I meant to say.
Glad to have you on board. Now, are you ready to tear down this show?
Oh, I'm ready to tear this show a new one, if that's possible.
Okay, let's jump into it.
Okay, so, where do I even start with the show? Maybe the horrible bland character design, the lack of shading, the lack of vibrant colors and a unique style. You know what? I think that's a good pick to start with. The style. The show tries to emulate an anime-esque style, which painfully fails at it. With simplicity, and it comes off just wrong. One of the worst things you can do for your cartoon is inspire yourself in a type of animation and grab the worst tropes of it. Let's see. Simplistic and bland animation to save budget, bad use of CGI, and I mean awful, the kind of CGI that doesn't blend well with the other 2D characters. Yeah, that type. Super rushed in some occasions, although in anime it can get better with the home release. Yeah, not the case with SM 2017 or Maximum whatever. Backgrounds are pretty meh, not even nicely done, but they are not I would burn my eyes with bleach awful too bad.
The show is janky a lot of the time when it comes to character movement. It looks like animatics, but with a lot more detail, but with, less personality. One example I will use is when Peter meets up with his buddies, they walk weird, like they are missing a few frames. The fight scenes are just as bad. It was the best fight scene from what I watched. Spidey, there's his bone saw.
Dana! Hey, Freak Show! You're going nowhere! I got you for 3 minutes! 3 minutes of playtime!
Not as fun as that one, but still a welcome sight. This fight scene is still not good though. The style drains the life out of the scene. The fact that not Randy Savage is a bit acrobatic for a giant, muscular man is a bit off-putting. Yes, he's in shade, but I feel like he shouldn't be super acrobatic. But here's the thing that this fight scene has that the others don't. It actually has energy to it. Also, the backgrounds don't distract you from the fight. It's not good, but it does make some sense since it's an underground fight. You can at least look at this and still have some investment in what's going on. All the other action scenes, though, not so much.
I cannot say the same about the animation. Sometimes the characters can have weird proportions, and thankfully they are not notoriously if you don't pay attention, but they are still there. Now, let's see 2 American cartoons that are good example of capturing that anime-esque style really damn well. Avatar: The Last Airbender and Castlevania from Netflix. The shows can capture the style really damn well. They also feel fresh and unique. Yeah, Spider-Man 2017 doesn't do that.
Let me show you a few clips of this show. Bear in mind, this show came out in 2017, 4 years ago, so pretty recent. And also, this was made under Disney, one of the richest companies in the world.
Let go of me, you fool!
I did this with a vision friend of yours earlier.
I am the Vulture!
Bullseye! Or Vulture's eye?
Yes, that was professionally done under Disney, made only a short few years ago. To give you a comparison, here are a few shows that don't have Disney money behind it. The TV shows that you would think would be lesser animation quality because they don't have the backing of a multi-billion-dollar company like Disney.
Joe, chill.
What you pick today could be your code name for life. You better be careful, or you'll be stuck with something utterly indecent.
It's midnight!
Wait, how did that get there? Right, did you throw that in there? Oh, who am I kidding? I would have thrown that clip in there too. This show shouldn't be like this. The animation has to be at least on par with these shows, especially since some of them came out years before this. Hell, that My Hero clip I showed came out the exact same year. But nope, the animation is just awful. And before you say it's just a couple of scenes, no, this is most of the show. And somehow, the character designs are just as bad. First, let's talk about these models. Yeah, they are fucking awful. Like, this might be one of the worst designed cartoons I have ever seen. This is beyond garbage. These models look like something you would do for a rough draft, not for the final product. All these models have no life to them. They are just boring. They lack personality and style, which is kind of needed for a superhero show. Not helped by the fact that the art is so bland, like the colors are muted and dull, which is totally what I want for a superhero show, just boring colors.
What the hell happened? Jeez Louise, we seriously went from Ultimate Spider-Man to this. Talk about a downgrade, like almost everyone got a horrible redesign. I will move on to my most hated ones, but I need to talk about the character designer of the show, or at least the first season. Sean O'Neill is the name. He worked on shows like Netflix's Voltron, John Justice, Legend of Korra, and many of the animated movie universe of DC. I don't know if Disney came and put a wall in his creative brain, but I can tell they did that. Like, seriously, what the hell? Too bad. I can see from his DeviantArt page the dude has talent.
The redesigns for a lot of the characters are not very good. Let us show the designs of these characters, shall we?
Peter looks less like your classic nerd, more like your average anime boring protagonist. Harry looks like an Andrew Garfield, and Jensen Ackles combine their DNA and make a skinny version of themselves. Gwen looks straight up like a Karen and not a teenager, which I hate so much that I could not believe it was her. Duck Ock looks like a human Patrick Star. Jackal looks like a demonic Grinch, and Vulture looks like a knockoff version of himself. What I'm trying to say is that this science doesn't respect the original designs from the comics. When I see Gwen Stacy, I don't see Gwen Stacy. What I'm looking at is a poorly version of herself. Seriously, I hope her design would change in the next seasons, but it didn't. Ugh. You can be creative with the designs, but at the same time, you should respect the OG ones. Look at the Spectacular Spider-Man. He did that while adding some new stuff to the design of the characters. By the way, Gwen in that show is one of my childhood crushes, and she has a really great design. Just saying. Anyway, let's try and be a bit positive for a minute. Let's say some designs I did like. There is Aunt May, Miles, Anya, Norman, Black Cat, and well, that is it. You would think I would have a balance between the good things and the bad things, but no, this show just has some awful designs.
And now we have to talk about the worst design in the show. Now, me and Riot have different opinions on what the worst design is, so we're going to talk about both of them. Still, both of these are pretty awful, so essentially you can make a good argument why either designs are the worst in the show. Now, let's go for my pick. What I'm about to show you is quite possibly the worst Spidey design. But first, a background. You see, for the show, they decided to show up Peter's early days as Spider-Man, him trying to figure out his costume and tactics, which I kind of like. In other media, we don't get a lot of that aspect of the character. Not to say it isn't shown, we get brief glimpses of this in other media, but never a full dive in. So the idea of Peter having a different outfit at the start makes sense, and it would be interesting. But man, oh man, it's not good. Here is the outfit. Yes, that's the outfit. Where do I even start? This outfit doesn't scream Spider-Man to me. I see where they were getting inspiration from, the films. It's quite obvious when you compare, but why do those costumes work, but not this one? Simple, it lacks Spider-Man iconography. What do I mean? Okay, when you think of Spider-Man and the images associated with him, you think of his costume or his mask. Those images have become iconic on their own in the way that you can recognize them on their own. But this outfit has nothing like that. If you told me this was a new character, I would have believed you. You guys couldn't even bother putting a spider symbol on it? Like, come on. It wouldn't have fixed the look, but at least I could see something Spider-Man-y on it. And you might be saying, well, it has Spider-Man's colors. By that logic, this could be an early Superman outfit since it's also red and blue. Oh yeah, the rest of the outfit sucks too. The goggles look terrible and out of place on Peter's model, mostly due to the fact it has shading. Why does that have shading out of everything? I joked about this being a rough draft, but now I really think Disney just forced them to send this out unpolished. Also, why the hell does Spider-Man's pants have red lines on the sides? Did it come like that? Did Peter sew them on? What the hell? Hell, even the show itself, Peter has a costume that's way better than this horrible one he uses. It's a unique design, but it looks like it could be a Spider-Man outfit. Like a rough version that he improves upon later when he creates his real outfit. Thank God though he does use his OG outfit, so at least this design doesn't last forever. Again, I can commend the designers for trying something new, but the problem is that this looks truly awful, along with a bunch of other designs from the show.
But none can compare with what they did to poor Rhino. Holy hell. How can someone look at this and say, perfect? Like, seriously, I don't want to imagine the other designs where this thing was the one they went with. Where do I even begin on why I despise this? He doesn't even look like freaking Rhino. He looks more like an ogre or a troll monster, not a rhino. I would have preferred the mechanical suit or the goofy comic style suit. No, they gave us this. Ultimate Spider-Man did this a million times better. He looks like a threat. The 2017 one, he looks like a made up bad purpose parody design.
Yeah, in case you haven't noticed, this show is bland.
How can a Disney show get away with this? I mean, the freaking shading is non-existent. No matter what time of the day it is, on the show, night or rain, it looks too bland and lifeless. Who is responsible for this god-awful animation? A character can be in a sunny day or stuck in a building with no way the light can enter, and it will all look exactly the same.
None of these colors pop out here. They are just bland and boring. Like, if they're going to do the anime look, then I have no idea why they did this. Anime is home to some of the most colorful and brightest shows of all time, filled with so much energy in its aesthetics. This? What the hell am I even looking at? Is this the look you want to give for your superhero show? The thing with incredibly bright and colorful characters?
Ultimate Spider-Man did this a million times better. Yeah, the show everyone hated for a while. Some still do. But actually, let's talk more about Ultimate and the effort went to that show. Sean worked on Ultimate, so it's clearly that Disney made the show painfully bland in terms of animation. Now, let's talk about the colors, like shading. The colors feel really toned down and a bit off. Again, comparing it to Ultimate, the colors in the show is pretty good. It's not exactly bright, but it has a really good balance. Hell, the show sometimes could look like a comic in motion. Not surprisingly, since some of the art team that worked on Ultimate Spider-Man also worked with the DC animated movie universe. Not only Sean worked on Ultimate. Looking at this and imagining that the last show had a good use of color, you would try to make it as good, if not better than the predecessor, but sadly no. That is not the case with Spider-Man 2017.
I feel bad for Sean and the people who had to work under the show. Like, these people aren't untalented. They can make good stuff. The problem is that Disney, Marvel Animation, or whoever's in charge of this is like, yeah, let's just waste these talented people's skills and just make something that looks bad when it comes out, and even worse when time goes on. Real smart people running this show, huh?
Spider-Man 2017 is seriously a terrible show. I still cannot believe the fact that the show has this animation, Spider-Man show. What the hell happened here, Disney? I know what happened. You just wanted to make a quick buck and made absolutely no effort into it. Because you know what? You know that mediocrity sells. Just fuck off, Disney.
Whoa, come down. It's just a drawing. By everything we just said, it's literally the worst looking Spider-Man show of all time. Yes, the 60s Spider-Man looks more appealing than this. At least that has bright colors and pretty good meme material. This show got none of that. Instead, it has boring colors, worse character designs, and even worse animations. I didn't even think it's possible for a Mario cartoon to have animation comparable to a show made in the 60s with an incredibly tiny budget compared to Disney, but here we are. Thank you, Riot, for helping me tag team this sucker.
Hey, no problem, dude. Thank you for inviting me. It was hella fun to slay the show.
Anyway, that's the show. I hope you all like this takedown of it. I'll see you all next time, wherever that will be. Anyway, I'm signing off. See ya.